Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. On this occasion, I will discuss the elements and principles of dress in professional ethics and aesthetic of beauty. In the application of ethics and aesthetic of dress that need to be considered, namely the element and principle of design, classification of clothing, body shape, personality, clothing equipment, choosing the right clothing. On this occasion, we will discuss the elements and principles of fashion design. Dress elements. Design elements or clothing. Design is a design pattern that is the basis for making an object such as clothing. Fashion design is an arrangement of line, shape, color, texture of an object that will be made into a design or description of the object to be able to create dress. First, line. In the field of clothing, the line element that is usually applied to the sketch of this shirt actually has three functions. This function is to limit the shape of the structure or silhouette of the shirt design. Divide the shape of the structure into parts of clothing to determine the model of clothing. Give the direction and movement of the model to cover the leg of body shape, such as the Prince line and Empire line and others. Based on the basic form, lines element in fashion design can generally be classified into two types, namely, 1. Straight lines is a line that the distance between the tip and the base takes the short distance. A straight line has properties that seems more right and sturdy. 2. Curved lines in the long distance that connects two points or more. This curved line is included in the type of line that has a more dynamic and flexible nature. Shape. Shape can be interpreted as the result of the relationship of several lines that have a two-dimensional area or plane, or used for objects that have length and width. If the field is arranged in a space, it will create a three-dimensional shape that has length, width, and height. All kinds of shapes. Natural forms. Natural forms are forms that are free from nature. Geometric shapes. Geometric shapes are shapes that can be measured with a measuring device and have regular shapes. Decorative forms. Decorative forms are forms that have been changed from the original form through a stylish process or style that still has the characteristic of its original form. Color. As a design element that is quite prominent, color is very influential on one's appearance. Color theory also states that color has been properties that are often associated with atmosphere, time, and opportunity. Texture. Texture is the state of the surface of an object or the impression that arises from what is seen on the surface of the object. Texture can affect the appearance of the material, both visually based on sight and sensationally impressions, or feelings. Type of texture: a shiny or shiny texture can make someone who looks bigger or fatter is more suitable for thin people because it can add to the impression of fat. Dual texture: the texture or a texture that is not shiny. The This texture gives the impression of shrinking objects suitable for say user stiff texture does not follow the shape of the body so that it can cover a less than ideal body shape. This texture is not suitable for obsessed people. Rock texture give a fat impression. The soft texture doesn't affect the size as long as it doesn't shimmer. Translucent or dreamy texture cannot cover body shape. Hair texture. Fashion design principle. The principle of design are a way of how to arrange the elements contained in an image so that it becomes more beautiful and attractive. There are five principles of fashion design. Number one, balance. Number two, unity. Number three, comparison. Number four, rhythm. Number five, focus or center of attention, point of interest. Number one, balance. All design components must operate balance, not one side. The balance is divided into two, namely symmetrical balance and asymmetrical balance. Number two, unity is something that gives the impression of the integration of each of its elements. Unity includes a variety of different design elements, but makes the parts unit so that it looks like a whole object, not separated. 3. Comparison. Comparison between one part and another. The result of the comparison of distance, size, number, level, attach. Number 4. Rhythm. A movement that can shift the air from one part to another without jumping. Rhythmic can be created through repetition. Repetition it is the application of an element more than once in different places. Repetition is divided into regular repetition. This repetition has a strong direction but gets boring quickly. An irregular repetition of this more interesting. And B. Radiation are lines of radiation. Of radiation are lines or radiation obtained for wrinkles. For example, wrinkles on the neck yoke pocket attached. C. Side switching is when the S move across the silhouette or area of the garment from the section to another. See the shape of or color grade. For example, changing the width of the skirt, changing the size using lace on the neckline. Attach the contraction is a rhythm that occurs from contrast. For example, the contrast of the lines of the fabric motif or the conflict or colors. 5. Focus or center of attention, point in interest. A good fashion design must have a part that is more attractive than other parts. Too much attention is actually less fun because it will look too full. Thank you.